Welcome to episode 215 of the 2-Minute Warning. Today I'm going over what is wrong with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, if you're thrown off by the thumbnail, the Pittsburgh Steelers are already guaranteed a playoff berth. However, they have not won the division. And I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers will get a single playoff win. That's what the thumbnail was made for. So, we look at the Pittsburgh Steelers. They started 11-0, and they have lost their past 3 games straight. Started off with the Washington football team, ending the undefeated streak. Buffalo Bills, Josh Allen is on fire. He beat them. And then the Cincinnati Bengals just dominated the Steelers last night, Monday Night Football on Week 15 of the NFL. And now their upcoming schedule is the Indianapolis Colts and Cleveland Browns. And both of those teams are arguable playoff teams. And I think the Steelers will seriously lose both of those games. Assuming that occurs, reason I think they'll lose both of those games. Big Ben is 38, 39 years old and is one of the heavier quarterbacks. I mean, I don't know, there's nothing to say. He's just a big dude, and he doesn't have a single run game. So every game he's forced to drop back and throw about 45 passes, and he's just not at that age, youth, and athletic ability anymore to be able to withstand that and still put up MVP-type numbers that could carry the Steelers to wins in an amazing playoff team. Having no run game in James Conner, he's been in and out. Then the defense was pretty much carrying them the entire season, and now Devin Bush and Bud Dupree are hurt. That's not brand new news, but those two players being hurt really took away from the defense. Yes, they still have stars with TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, but that's like taking away like Aaron Donald away from the Rams and saying, well, you still have Jalen Ramsey. Yes, you still have talent on the defense, but without all your stars, it's definitely a big hit to the Steelers' defense, and not having Devin Bush and Bud Dupree, that's the biggest issue to me and the Steelers, and why they're not being able to be afloat anymore and not be able to be dominant and winning games like they were the entire season. So, having that said, Baker Mayfield's on a hot streak himself, like Josh Allen. I think the Browns could beat them. It's a division game, and I believe if the Colts beat the Steelers and then come down to the division game between the Browns and Steelers, if the Browns win that game, the Browns take the division and the Steelers will be forced to fall to a wild card spot. And I truthfully think that will happen. I think they'll lose 5 straight games heading into the playoffs and get bounced the first round. Not many teams, which is kind of sad because you got to figure if they didn't start 11-0, they wouldn't even be the playoffs because if that makes sense. Like, you have your last 5 games are losses. If you didn't start 11-0, you're more than likely going to have a worse record than 11-5. Therefore, if they didn't start 11-0, they're not making the playoffs this year. So I think they'll get to the playoffs, be a wild card spot, and being likely the 5th or 6th or 7th seed, they're going to have to match up with either the Bills, Titans, or Browns more likely than not. And between those 3 teams, we've seen the Bills beat them. If the Browns could beat them in Week 17, we know they could beat them. And the Steelers we have seen play before, and I believe Week 5 or 6 of the NFL, Steelers edged them out. But the Titans had like their worst half in football this year. One of their worst halves because they played the Browns and got dominated in the first half. They played one of their worst games this year against the Steelers and only lost by I believe 3. So even if the Titans play at half of what they are compared to that game, I think the Titans can beat the Steelers, and with just having a 5-game losing streak, what confidence, what motivation, what momentum do you have? Everyone just sees you, I don't want to say as a laughing stock because they're still a solid team, but as a team to not really worry about as to when you're worrying about them being 11-0, being a 5-game losing streak, it defeats you, and then being the other team, you have confidence knowing they're beaten down. I just think between Derrick Henry, if they face the Titans, I think he could run through that defense. Yes, there's still TJ Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick, and other star talented dudes, Cameron Hayward, on that team, but it's not the same. I think Derrick Henry can definitely put up a solid run game against the Steelers and push them to a win. I think Baker Mayfield, if he continues his hot streak, he could get a win, and Josh Allen, if he could continue his hot streak, he gets a win. Both the Bills and Browns are very 2 hot teams right now, and unfortunately for the Steelers, they're both in the AFC, and there's a good chance he has to play one of those. Big Ben, as in him, has to play one of those 2 teams in the AFC, and they might get, I think their best shot is the Titans, but even then, if I'm putting my money on the line, I think the Titans can beat the Steelers in first round, and this undefeated 11-0 team loses 6 games in a row and gets bounced out of the playoffs in first round. It sucks to see because everyone obviously on their hot streak was like, dude, the Steelers might challenge the Chiefs for a Super Bowl run. They might come out of the AFC, get their 7th Super Bowl, set the record again. However, the tides completely changed, losing 2 defensive stars. Juju Smith, we all saw him get freaking rocked. I don't know if he'll continue the dance moves because clearly it's not paying off for him. Chase Claypool, solid rookie, but between Juju Smith and Chase Claypool, they can't do it all. And then Big Ben, like I said, he's just too old. He's not the same Big Ben. I still think he's a capable quarterback and putting up points and winning games, but you can't rely on him that much. You can't drop back and throw 45 passes a game and you expect him to be perfect. And just, like I said, there's not a lot of variables that is confusing here. He's old dude, and he's just not the same Big Ben anymore. And he has, I don't want to say lack of talent, but the Steelers' offense is not absolutely stacked by any means. I'm pretty sure everyone would agree with that. Having 0 run game, you can't take any pressure off the offense. You can't take any pressure off Big Ben. And the defense just knows what's coming. They're going to blitz extra because they know you're dropping back, and they know your receivers are, I think Juju and Chase Claypool are solid, but outside of those two, there's a weak receiving core. Yeah, there's some talent, but you guys know what I mean. The Steelers are just not stacked. If this continues, I think my prediction will be right. I don't even think this is a bold take. The Steelers have fallen out of my top 10 in my power rankings. Just losing to the Bengals, that is a really defeating loss. That was supposed to be their comeback game where they show, hey, we're still a playoff team. We're going to go into the Colts and Browns and at least come away with one of those wins. Now, I don't know if they come away with either. I don't think they will. And I truthfully think going into the playoffs, if they play the Bills, Browns or Titans, it's not going to be pretty for Big Ben, and the Steelers are going to have to reevaluate. Will Big Ben retire? What do they draft for? Having a lower draft pick now? Who do they try and pick up in free agency? I like the Steelers when they're healthy, but due to them not being healthy, it's not a good time for the Steelers and their future. I think the biggest priority in the offseason is getting their physicality back, getting a running game back, getting someone in the backfield. Go freaking sign Le'Veon Bell again from the Chiefs. He's only on a 1-year deal. I don't care about the ego. I don't care about the drama. Le'Veon Bell still has talent. Re-sign him. Figure out the drama. Even if it's not Le'Veon Bell, get someone in that backfield that could take pressure off Big Ben and the Steelers offense. But my overall consensus, they lose their last 5 games of the season and lose the first round of the playoffs. Sorry, Steelers fans. It's just not looking good for you guys now due to injuries and Big Ben not being able to do what 25-year-old Big Ben could do. Can't blame the guy. He's 39, 38, whatever he is, very up there in age. He can't do absolutely everything. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Any other videos you want to see, if Big Ben will retire or not. 2-minute warning.